Alright, it is the 4th day of the Boulder Super League, and we'll be taking on the Middleweight Challenge. To get there, we just teleport over, and then we talk to Dr. Dig. Once here, we just say, I don't want to join, and now we can select our difficulty. For Middleweight, it's all about shields, but not in the way you think, because we just need the shields to be generated for the overbreathing buff, which is the buff you get from the second fight. This Fortitude of Mind and Spirit buff is alright if you're running units that can move multiple times, or maybe a support unit like a Bronya that can make your DPS move multiple times so they generate their own shields. But we'll be using Trailblazer Fire and Gepard to be able to get our units +6 from the overbreathing without having to rely on that strategy. So for the team, it's going to revolve around Fire Trailblazer and Gepard, and then I'll also use 2 DPS, preferably Wind and Quantum, because those are the enemy weaknesses. And the reason we're using 2 DPS is because this is an alt spamming stage, so energy doesn't matter too much. And without further ado, let's start. For this first stage, it's not difficult, but it is annoying because we don't have any damage buffs yet, so if you lack DPS, you may take 2 turns to do this first stage. It really depends on where you are at your point in the game.
When they keep quiet, they come.
Fortunately, we got really lucky with our RNG there.
The truth of life and death. The sanctuary is but a vision. Break!
I'm on guard.
This ends.
Wait for the tiles. Wow, my turn.
Alright, now we have the overbreathing buff, the main buff of Middleweight, because when an ally gains a shield, they also gain 1 stack of overbreathing. And for now, it just increases crit rate, but the next 2 buffs further build on this overbreathing buff to give even greater benefits. The second round's pretty much just a copy of the first round with different elemental weaknesses.
It's time.
When they keep quiet.
The truth of life and death. The sanctuary is but a vision. Break! This ends here.
When they keep quiet. My turn.
Alright, now we have the sudden impact buff. The buff that allows us to alt spam, because when an ally's overbreathing reaches 3 and 6 stats, their energy is fully recharged and they immediately gain an action. This is incredibly useful because it means we can basically use 2 alts from every character on turn 1 if we're lucky, and they'll also get 3+ actions on turn 1.
Move carefully.
So it's great to have a taunting light cone on Fire Trailblazers so that she gets attacked more often to charge up her ult gauge so that she's able to ult on her first attack, so that we can take advantage of that sudden impact buff immediately.
Don't hesitate.
Lance ablaze. Lance forward.
The truth
So
of
now our
life
Dan
and
Hang
death.
has
Revealed
fully
in an instant.
charged his ultimate gauge.
The sanctuary is but a
We
vision.
attack with him. And one thing to not forget is that their actions are advanced forward 100% every time they recharge their ults, so don't forget to move your units, otherwise you're just giving up on DPS.
Lance ablaze. Lance
This, our other two units get their ults.
Luck of the draw. Please. And victory!
The truth of life and death. The sanctuary is but a vision. Break! This ends here.
My turn.
Also, another thing about this specific DPS is that she does get her enhanced basic attacks every time she uses her ult, so you're gonna want to make sure that you weave those in between her uses.
In the name of Landau, a will forged in ice never falters.
Lance at the ready.
Luck of the draw. Please. And victory!
Hope you're prepared. Have no interest in conflict.
Lance ablaze. Lance forward.
So, this was the best demonstration of this strategy. We got all of our units +6 on turn 1, used all their ults, but unfortunately we lacked the DPS to do this in one turn. But if you have stronger DPS, you can see how easy it can be to turn 1
Don't
this
lose
stage.
momentum.
Come on. My turn.
Fighting is mean.
And there we go. Now for the main damage buff. When an ally's overbreathing reaches 6 stacks, their damage is increased by 600%. So as you saw from that last fight, it was pretty easy to reach 6 stacks on all of our units. So this is a really easy buff to obtain when you're running both Trailblazer and Departed.
Move carefully.
I'm going to target Ice out of space first because it has freezing, which is annoying, and this Guardian Shadow is not super annoying, but you know, yeah, the freezing is just a pain.
The redemption.
Luke.
For your not a scratch.
This ends here.
Wow. This sucks. Please. And victory!
Have no interest in conflict. The truth of life, the sanctuary, is but a vision. Break!
Judgment is here. Retribution.
Luke.
Hope you're prepared. The truth of life and death, the sanctuary, is but a vision. Break!
So now our Dan Hang is at +6, so you can see he's doing a lot more damage.
My turn. Wait for the tiles.
For your sins. Lance ablaze.
Oop.
Lance forward.
Luck of the draw. Please.
And now both our damage dealers are +6.
Victory!
Lance ablaze. Lance forward.
In the name of Land, a will forged in ice never falters.
Lance ablaze. Lance forward. I'm okay.
Fighting is meaningless. In the name of Land, a will forged in ice never falters.
The redemption. Execute the judgment.
I've no interest.
Prayers won't help you. Lance at the ready. Lance forward.
The truth of life in the sanctuary is but a vision. Break!
And there we go. 8 turns. My DPS are not the greatest, so Again, as you could see in round 3, you could definitely do this in one turn if you had a stronger DPS, heck even a 5-star DPS. The 8th or the 4th round, the enemies are really tanky even with the 600% buff, which is really annoying. I did run 2 DPS instead of an offensive support, so that could have made a big difference if you had one of those. Alright, that is all for this video. For the next one, or for the last one in this Boulder Town Super League series, it will be the Heavyweight Challenge. Look forward to that.